co-host, my studio audience. Shout out to Wendy Williams. Hey, Fatale. Thank you. Thank you. Pink Friday 2 wasn't just an album. It was a moment. It was calm. It was versatile. It had some bars. And it was a long time coming. But was it perfect? Child, don't get me started. Today we're diving into the wins, the what-ifs, and the gag-worthy moments of Nicki Minaj's latest era. Because if there's one thing about Nicki, she gon' break records and necks. When we're talking about numbers, sweetheart, the stats don't lie. So we can't start the show till we mention her achievements this era. Pink Friday 2 debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200, making Nicki the first female rapper in history to snatch 3 #1 albums. The album was certified platinum in just a few months. And in case the Barbz needed another flex, it became the best-selling female rap album in both 2023 and 2024. Period. Let's not forget her breakout single, Super Freaky Girl, a solo #1 hit on the Billboard Hot 100. And when it came to the stage, her Pink Friday 2 World Tour made her story, with 11 concerts grossing over $2 million each. The most highest grossing tour ever for a female rapper. Oh, and while she was stacking coins, she was also building an empire. Nicki launched her label, Heavy on It, and secured her title as the greatest female rapper of all time, according to both Billboard and Vibe. While the girls were talking numbers, Nicki showed the numbers. But every era has its highs and lows. And now that the charts have spoken, we gotta break down the Pink Friday 2 era. Because not every track in Gag City made us gag. So stay tuned, stay fabulous, and let's get into it.
Hello.
Let's be real. Some of these songs were that girl, and some, let's just say, it should have never made it out of the studio. Now. Stop the dramatics, child. Barbz, we love Nicki in this house, but we gotta keep it real on this show. Nicki gave us 25 tracks on Pink Friday 2, Gag City Pluto Edition. And while the track list was stacked, not every song hit the same. Let's break down the bops and the flops. Let's start with the tracks that cleared. These are the songs that I would consider #1 in my home. We call these songs certified bops. She Ate, one of the most iconic songs on the album, even though the mix was given 2015 SoundCloud. Still, it gave classic Nicki. She did her big one. Now this is how you collab. My personal fave. Vulnerable, lyrical, and a smooth switch up from the usual Nicki flair. J. Cole, he floated. Honestly, one of her best songs in her entire catalog. The bars, the beat, the attitude, iconic. A pop rap slay, it did what it had to do and gave us the rollout moment we needed. Underrated gem, sweet, catchy, and melodic Nicki always hits different. Now this should have been the album intro, emotional but still polished. I felt that. She should have never held on to this one. Should have dropped with the original album. It's giving confident queen energy. This one had the energy, big beat, big attitude, and it was made for a video moment, not a remix. We were robbed of a visual slay. Y'all, this song was made for a music video. The beat, the bars, the bounce. A cowboy hat and choreography would have had the internet in a chokehold. And the fact that Doja Cat's verse was taken off, that's a cultural crime. Another fave. Nicki delivered, but Future's part felt unmixed and unmastered. Like she sent him the track and he recorded in a hallway. Still a bop, though. Now, this one had potential. The hook slapped, but Lil Uzi brought the vibe down. I get why he was added, but maybe he should have stayed in the studio just a little longer. First verse, fire. Second verse, left us wanting more. It's one of those half bop, half okay situations. Okay, now we gotta talk about the tracks that had us checking the skip button. Sorry, Barbz, but let's call a flop a flop. I get the emotion, but this one felt more like a Billie Eilish demo with Nicki voice notes layered on top. Beautiful sample, but it didn't hit. Now listen, I have Caribbean roots too, but this song, it wasn't needed. Felt like a throwaway from a compilation project. I love that Nicki gave us a Jesus moment, but the song itself felt empty. Amazing beat, but the vocal energy didn't match the message. One word, offbeat. That's it. That's the tweet. Something about it just didn't connect. Now, these are the songs that didn't hit right away, but over time, they grew on me like a late-night tweet thread. At first, it felt like a TikTok reject, but now it's a Lil Bop. Still wish she added a new verse with the 50 Cent version. Needed a whole rollout. This track with Drake could have been massive with the right visual. Instead, it's tucked in like a bonus track. It's not a vibe song, but it's cute for Instagram stories when you celebrate in someone's B-day, a mood in that specific moment. Now, why would you tease this song like a throwaway and then drop it on the album? It sounds outdated, but it low-key eats now. Reminded me of Sex in the Lounge from Roman Reloaded. Forgettable at first, but it hits different in the right mood. Should've never been dropped early without promo, but with time, it's a soft, heartfelt moment that deserved better. I love the message, but the delivery is slightly off. Still, with Keisha and Monica on the track, you learn to love it. Honestly, it would have been the perfect closing song. Cute, nostalgic, and brings it full circle. I rate this album a 7.5 out of 10. On first listen, I hated the album. On second listen, it became my favorite album. So why is the rating so low? Well, let's just say this album doesn't really hold much replay value for me. I had a moment of obsession that's gone now. But something I noticed about Miss Minaj. People appreciate her art over time. So now, we wait. All right, the album's out, the charts are buzzing, but let's talk about how Nicki moved during this era. Did she truly embody the Pink Friday 2 vibe beyond the studio? Let's dive into her interviews, appearances, and overall energy. Nicki kicked things off with a candid sit-down with Joe Budden. They delved into her evolution as an artist, the challenges she faced, and the personal growth she's experienced. She opened up about the tragic loss of her father and its impact on her music.
Cut to, he didn't get to meet my son, which is just so ironic to me. I just don't understand that. And with everything in life, I just try to figure out why. And that one has been, it's been the only thing in like, I think probably in years that has left me like, why?
When it comes down to the Nicki and Joe Budden interviews, I can honestly and truthfully say that they always show the most authentic and genuine side of Nicki that nobody ever gets to see. I feel like Joe knows the right questions to ask and the right time to ask them, which allows Nicki to loosen up and be a bit more vulnerable. Especially since Joe Budden is obviously someone that Nicki respects that has experience in the rap industry. This definitely helped paint the picture and set the tone for Pink Friday 2. Nicki even sat down with Ebro Darden on Apple Music. This interview touched on her creative process, collaborations, and the significance of Pink Friday 2 in her discography.
are we always just getting Nicki? Like, is this work or is this just...
It's Nick. You're just getting Nicki when you hear the music. The other stuff is work, and some of it is play. I mean, let's face it. This is my fucking job. I have to have some sort of fun. Like, if it means, you know, making fun of these hoes and like, why the fuck not?
Reminding bitches they're your sons.
Yes, every chance I have.
Ebro is also someone that I feel like captures amazing interviews with Nicki that makes it easy for her to peel some layers. He doesn't do it as well as Joe, but you definitely get to see the brother-sister dynamic between them. Throughout her press run, Nicki dropped some memorable lines that had the internet talking. One standout was during her chat with Ebro, where she discussed her responsibility as a female rapper in the industry.
There's nothing wrong with change. As long as, in my opinion, and it's just my opinion, nobody has to agree with it, it's one opinion. I think as long as people who are supposed to keep shit real, then the circle of life keeps going. But what happened was, somewhere along the line, motherfuckers stopped doing that. Hyping up whackness, hyping up weakness, hyping up whack shit, male and female. And that's what happened. And then when I speak on it, I look like, no. Y'all just don't want to hear the truth because y'all know y'all don't really belong. Because a rapper that belong rises to the challenge. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and if I'm being quite honest, that's one of the things that I do personally wish Nicki vocalized more in her music. As much as I can appreciate her work of art, I seriously wish she would bring that energy to the booth. Even though she did have some personal songs on the album, it was still hard to see the energy that she was in if we were only going based on her project alone. Pink Friday 2 just wasn't as cohesive as her album, The Pink Print. Of course, it wouldn't be a Nicki era without a bit of spice. There were subtle moments where fans speculated she was addressing certain industry dynamics and perhaps even sending messages to fellow artists.
The person first recorded it and sent it back. And then my album came out, ended up coming out a long time after. Like I kept on pushing it back a little bit. So then the person hit me one day and said they were in a different era. And I was like, oh, okay. So you told me that months later. Okay, and then after that, their people apparently said they wanted to do it. They, now that they were not, I guess, in that era anymore. And we said, okay, let's see. And then we got another few comments saying that they don't really think I like them. It was the day that I posted a picture of Billie Eilish, and and I'm also shouting out JT and Lil Uzi in Cowgirl. Mm-hmm. So you never know why people say and do what they say and do, but everything in its time, in due time. I am just pleased and grateful at my fans loving the music. That's all.
Very.
Everyone speculated that she was referring to Doja Cat during this time, and the artist she was referring to that took their verse off of her song, Cowgirl, was never confirmed. However, it would have been nice to see a collaboration between the two. Nonetheless, it is what it is. When it comes to Nicki's collaboration with other female rappers, let's just say, I have mixed opinions. Her appearance at Vogue's Forces of Fashion event also made headlines. She discussed her evolving style, the influence of motherhood on her artistry, and her relationship with the fashion world.
I was doing every other time, but since my son got here, it's different. And then once I stopped all of that worrying, I was able to finally write this last album and complete it to my standards and felt like it was great enough for my fans. So I guess what I'm saying is, whatever you do in life, the moment you let go, it's the moment everything comes to you, right? Like, I don't...
So, did Nicki sell the Pink Friday 2 era? Between the heartfelt interviews, viral moments, and the signature Nicki flair, she certainly kept us engaged. When Nicki announced the Pink Friday 2 World Tour, the Barbz knew they were in for a treat. And sis did not disappoint. The tour grossed over $108 million across 70 shows, making it the highest-grossing tour by a female rapper and placing it fourth among all rap or hip-hop tours in history. With more than 787,000 tickets sold, it's clear the demand was real. Now, let's talk visuals. Nicki and her team transformed stages into immersive experiences. From cyberpunk cities to poetic landscapes, each performance was a journey. The design studio Pagode crafted visuals that made the stage feel like another world, seamlessly blending screens into the set to erase boundaries. But it wasn't all smooth sailing. The tour faced its share of controversies. In May 2024, Nicki was detained in Amsterdam for alleged marijuana possession, leading to the postponement of her Manchester concert and the cancellation of an Amsterdam show. Fans in Dublin were left waiting in the rain due to a delayed performance, prompting demands for refunds. And a last-minute cancellation at Romania's Saga Festival, citing safety concerns over nearby protests, left attendees disappointed.
What you said?
Can you please stop filming? Please just step in the car for us.
No, I need a lawyer.
Despite these hiccups, Nicki's performer energy was undeniable. She brought out surprise guests like Drake in Toronto and 50 Cent in New York, adding layers to an already dynamic show. The setlist was a balanced mix of new hits and classic bangers, ensuring both day one Barbz and new fans were satisfied. And let me just say, as someone who attended the second leg of her tour in Miami, I was extremely satisfied. So, did she give performer energy or was it giving walk-through? With record-breaking numbers, stunning visuals, and performances that had everyone talking, it's safe to say Nicki solidified her status as a top-tier performer with the Pink Friday 2 World Tour. So now that we've unpacked the music, the interviews, the visuals, and the tour, it's time to give Pink Friday 2 its final grade. Nicki gave us bars, bops, and record-breaking numbers. From hitting #1 on the Billboard 200 to launching the highest-grossing female rap tour ever, the numbers weren't just cute, they were historic. Add in some iconic interviews, a few viral quotes, and a tour set list that fed both old and new Barbz? Yeah, it's safe to say she did what needed to be done. But let's not act like it was flawless. Some of the tracks felt like filler, and others, like Needle and Cowgirl, deserved full-blown music videos. The branding was cute, but we missed out on more cohesive visuals and rollouts for singles that could have hit harder. Chai and don't get me started on those unfulfilled Nicki promises. Roman track. So with all that said, we're giving the Pink Friday 2 era a strong... It wasn't perfect, but it was powerful. It wasn't always polished, but it was impactful. Nicki reminded the world why she's a legacy act. And she did it her way, pink wig and all. But now the question is, what's next for the queen? Personally, I'd love to see more music videos. It's time for Nicki to bring the cinematic side of her artistry back into focus. As for the rollouts and promo, the buzz was there, but the rollout felt a little chaotic. I'm hoping for a next era that's structured, sharp, and serves heavy visuals and a consistent narrative from start to finish. Musically, I'd love more of that raw, vulnerable Nicki, but also crazy talking, cocky Nicki. Or even a little experimental moment, like stepping out of her comfort zone. Pink Friday 2 gave us moments we'll never forget. But the story of Nicki Minaj is still being written. Comment what you want to see from her next era. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to be a part of the Fatale family. This is Alyssa Fatale signing off from Gag City. Stay tuned, stay fabulous, and I'll catch you on the next video.